In early 2021, a quiet bar in Orange County became the backdrop for a moment that would unravel everything Jarrod Schulz had spent 2 decades building. There, across the room, he spotted his ex-partner, Brandy Passani, laughing with friends. What happened next didn't just make headlines. It shattered a life carefully reconstructed over years of struggle, second chances, and fleeting triumphs. How does a man turn his life around after serving 16 months in state prison, build a family, achieve fame, and then lose it all in one night? The story of Jarrod Schulz is not just about one explosive incident. It's a story of redemption almost realized, a life almost saved, and the harsh truth that changing circumstances isn't enough if you never change yourself. Long before millions knew him as the young gun on Storage Wars, Jarrod Schulz was just a young man in his early 20s making very poor decisions. On January 27, 1997, his life took a dark turn. He was arrested, caught with methamphetamine, a dangerous substance that would set him on a path no young man should walk. This wasn't his first encounter with trouble. Previous brushes with illegal activity had already put him on the radar, and now the stakes were higher than ever. Initially, it seemed the courts might give him a break. Jarrod was sentenced to 60 days in jail, followed by probation, a second chance many people never get. He served the 2 months, paid his dues, and walked out, seemingly free. But freedom, it turned out, was fragile. Within a week, he was arrested again, this time for driving under the influence while carrying more illegal drugs. The second strike was unforgiving. The judge saw a pattern of behavior and decided that Jarrod needed more than a slap on the wrist. 16 months in state prison awaited him. Prison changed everything. Unlike the short jail stay, state prison wasn't just a place for minor offenders. It was a world filled with people who had committed violent, serious crimes. Jarrod was surrounded by murderers, hardened criminals, and people whose lives were irrevocably locked behind bars. Living among them, he saw a reflection of what could become of him if he didn't change. A family friend later said that witnessing the reality of those who'd given up on themselves was a wake-up call. For the first time, Jarrod could clearly see a path for himself, one that didn't end in a cage. Yet, while the experience instilled urgency, it also left scars. Psychological habits formed in prison, ways of handling stress and conflict, would resurface years later, even after fame and redemption. By the time he was 21, Jarrod walked out of prison with a felony conviction, no career prospects, and a determination not to return. But the emotional and psychological toll of incarceration lingered. 2 years later, in 1999, Jarrod found himself working as a sales manager at a carpet cleaning company in Tustin. It was honest work, far from glamorous, but it was a start. And then Brandy Passani entered his life. Smart, capable, and unjudgmental, she saw potential where others saw only a convicted ex-felon. Their connection was immediate, and by 2003, they had a son, Cameron. 2 years later came their daughter, Peyton. Brandy was more than a partner, she was a lifeline. For Jarrod, she was proof that redemption was possible, that a second chance could lead to something lasting and meaningful. But second chances come with pressure. Jarrod now had to prove himself daily, not just to the world, but to the woman who believed in him when most would have walked away. That pressure became both motivation and a source of tension, driving him to build a life he could be proud of. In his early 20s, Jarrod found success in the mortgage business during the housing boom. Money flowed, identity was built, and the American dream felt close enough to touch. But then came the mid-2000s housing crash. Jarrod's business, like countless others, collapsed almost overnight. He was unemployed, burdened with bills, and forced to watch the life he had worked to build crumble. The failure wasn't just financial, it struck at his sense of self. He had proven he could overcome a criminal past, and now that proof seemed to vanish in a heartbeat. But Jarrod wasn't ready to give up. With his aunt's suggestion, he tried storage auctions, a humble start that would later become the foundation for a career he couldn't have imagined. When Storage Wars premiered in December 2010, Jarrod and Brandy quickly became fan favorites. The young guns, underdogs without the deep pockets of their competitors but overflowing with hustle and chemistry. Viewers connected instantly because they felt real. Their bickering, teamwork, and undeniable charm made them the emotional center of the show. Suddenly, Jarrod was a household name. He was earning $30,000 per episode, appearing at industry events, and living a story of redemption that audiences loved. Fame, money, family. On paper, Jarrod had achieved everything a man could dream of after prison. In 2014, A&E even gave them a spin-off, Brandy and Jarrod. Married to the job, cementing their place in reality TV history. Yet, with visibility came pressure. Maintaining this life while filming a reality show exposed cracks that had long been beneath the surface. Jarrod and Brandy also ran Now and Then secondhand store in Orange County, their attempt at creating something lasting outside of television. The success of Storage Wars should have made the venture easy, but reality had other plans. 2013 opened a second location in Long Beach. 2014, Long Beach location closes. 2016, Orange County location shuts down. The repeated business failures mirrored the earlier collapse of his mortgage company, a reminder that success on TV didn't guarantee stability. While he earned well from the show, his independence, his legacy, and his dreams for a solid foundation were slipping away. The pressure, combined with unresolved habits and stress patterns from his past, created cracks in the facade he had worked so hard to maintain. Brandy had been Jarrod's anchor for 18 years, the partner who kept him grounded, the mother of his children, the constant in his life. But relationships, like businesses, can falter under pressure. By 2018, their romantic relationship had ended, though they continued working together professionally. When Storage Wars returned for season 13 in April 2021, the change was stark. Chemistry that once captivated millions had vanished. Bidding separately, communicating minimally, the tension was palpable. April 30th, 2021, marked a turning point. That night, at the Orange County bar, Jarrod confronted Brandy. What began as an argument quickly escalated. Witnesses reported shouting, pushing, and heightened aggression. Police were called. A misdemeanor domestic violence battery charge soon followed. This incident wasn't isolated. It was the public manifestation of years of unresolved anger, patterns that had begun in his youth and remained despite fame, family, and second chances. Following the incident, Jarrod's career unraveled. A&E investigated, and although he appeared briefly in season 13, his role ended immediately afterward. Seasons 14 and 15 moved forward without him. The identity he had built, the young gun, the scrappy underdog, the man who had beaten the odds, was gone. Jarrod's last social media posts were in 2021, around the time of the incident. Public visibility that once brought admiration now invited judgment. By all accounts, his television career was finished. Today, Jarrod Schulz owns the Rush Bar and Grill in Lake Forest, California. He has a new partner, Rochelle Beckman, and remains involved in day-to-day business. Yet, this new chapter carries the shadows of the past, legal troubles, public scrutiny, and the emotional toll of losing everything he once had. His children, Cameron and Peyton, now in their early 20s, grew up witnessing a very public rise and fall. From the triumphs of reality TV fame to the heartbreak of family tension and legal charges, they have seen the full arc of a father's struggles. The tragedy of Jarrod Schulz isn't his time in prison. It's that he almost became the story everyone hoped for. Redemption realized, life rebuilt, second chances maximized. He came so close: love, family, fame, financial success, and then, one night, everything unraveled. Prison taught him to manage aggression. Fame gave him validation, yet unresolved patterns of behavior persisted. He changed his circumstances, but not his core self. The domestic violence incident, coupled with prior issues, revealed a man still struggling with the demons he thought he had conquered. Jarrod's story is a cautionary tale. True change is more than opportunity, it is the painstaking work of transforming oneself from the inside out. At 48, Jarrod Schulz has lived a life few would imagine: crime, prison, love, fame, loss, and public scrutiny. Yet, there remains a sliver of hope. Redemption isn't impossible, but it requires confronting the patterns and choices that led to past failures. What could have saved Jarrod from his 2021 downfall? Was it inevitable, or were there turning points where a different choice might have rewritten the story? His life reminds us that success is fragile and appearances can be deceiving. Circumstances can change, fortunes can rise and fall, but the most challenging work, the work of changing ourselves, never ends.